Hey, what's going on, guys? It is Dibs, Mr. Crockpot on Twitter. Welcome to the Painted Lines YouTube channel. Today we are previewing my top 3 storylines versus the Atlanta Falcons on week 1 for the Philadelphia Eagles. If you're new to the channel, smash that subscribe button. Let's get going. My number 1 key for the Eagles is more gain than pain with Jalen Hurts. It was nearly impossible to get a good evaluation on Jalen Hurts in his first 4 starts last season. The offensive line was in complete shambles. Jalen Hurts had 2.3 seconds before the pocket collapsed. There were 24 starting quarterbacks that had more time in the pocket than Jalen Hurts did last year. His receivers made mistakes, while Doug Peterson was complete garbage as a play caller. In 2021, injuries across the offensive line have been few and far between. Devontae Smith finally gives the Eagles a receiver that can beat defenders off the line and create separation, something the Eagles struggle with significantly in 2020. And then you have that cloud of mystery that is Nick Sirianni. The Eagles head coach has purposefully hidden his offense from the majority of the NFL. Jalen Rieger and Quez Watkins have shown positive signs in camp of a potential 1 or 2 steps forward in their development. There is a buzz surrounding Jalen Hurts and his potential of cementing himself as a franchise quarterback moving forward. Jalen Hurts has everything in front of him to make a huge impression versus the Atlanta Falcons in week 1. This is a guy who struggled significantly against pressure last season. We all know that he needs to read the field better and grow more disciplined inside the pocket. There were too many times where he passed up an easy throw and instead chose to escape the pocket last season. Another area Jalen Hurts has struggled with was utilizing the middle of the field. The good news is Jalen Hurts has been working heavily with Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz during camp to bring back that intermediate area of the field in 2021. While there will be less 12 personnel sets this season, expect a significant amount of targets to Eagles tight ends this season. We'll also likely see some 21 personnel with 2 running backs and 1 tight end during games. This will do wonders for the Eagles' screen game, which has been a weakness in recent years. Let's talk about the good news and the bad news. Let's start off with the bad. It's incredibly important to point out Dean Pease, who has been in charge of some of the best defenses in the NFL, such as the New England Patriots and the Baltimore Ravens. Dean Pease is now the defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons. His defense is one that is highly aggressive at attacking the quarterback. Expect to see a crowded line of scrimmage with a ton of twists and stunts featuring Deion Jones and Dante Fowler Jr. One of the biggest playmakers the Eagles must account for on week 1 is Deion Jones. As seen here, expect Dean Pease to utilize Deion Jones' speed to get into the backfield and into Jalen Hurts' head. Jones had 2 interceptions, 4.5 sacks, and 10 quarterback hits in 2020. Expect Dean Pease to throw Deion Jones into multiple blitzes while also dropping back into coverage. Let's go to the other side, the good news. The Atlanta Falcons don't bring much of a pass rush in week 1. The Falcons' struggles at getting to the quarterback has been well documented. They were 26th in sack percentage in 2020 and 30th in 2019. On defense, Grady Jarrett is a beast in the middle of the defense for Atlanta. Outside of Jackson, there isn't much there. Dean Pease's defense has been exposed by quick plays and RPOs in the past, which we assume will be the bulk of Nick Sirianni's playbook this year. Expect to see Sirianni keeping the Falcons' athletic linebackers off balance with a heavy dose of screens, quick pass plays, and misdirection plays in order to get Jalen Hurts comfortable and in rhythm during the season opener. Going back to Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith, the Eagles haven't had an elite route runner like Devontae in such a long time. I expect Nick Sirianni to target Devontae Smith heavily in week 1 in order to keep Atlanta's defense off balance with plays like these that we saw in the preseason. Sirianni will want to get the ball out of Jalen Hurts' hands quickly and get him cool and confident in the pocket. Let's move on to my number 2 storyline. Number 2, I've got make Matt Ryan sweat. According to Pro Football Focus, the Falcons' offensive line ranks among the bottom of the NFL this year. The unit has ranked just 21st in pass blocking over the last 2 years. While mediocre against the run, left tackle Jake Matthews is very good in pass protection. On the other side, there is 2019 first-rounder Caleb McGarry. In contrast to Matthews, McGarry took a step forward last year but showed signs of struggling in pass protection. A large question for the Falcons involves replacing Alex Mack. Mack has been one of the best in the NFL and has moved his services on to San Francisco. My boy from Temple, Matt Hennessy, will likely get the nod at center in week 1. The Falcons will surely have their hands full, especially considering the biggest advantage for the Eagles comes for their strongest unit, the defensive line. Things get even more interesting considering we've yet to see Jonathan Gannon's full defensive scheme on the field. On the edge for the Birds, Josh Sweat is ready for a breakout season. Here's a guy that has dominated during training camp every step of the way. Josh Sweat has had 10 sacks the past 2 seasons, despite never playing more than 40% of the snaps. All signs so far through training camp point to Josh Sweat under Jonathan Gannon's system becoming a major impact player. Expect a large increase in production with more playing time under Gannon. And then you get to the inside. Javon Hargrave has consistently turned heads throughout training camp. Hargrave spent the bulk of training camp in the backfields during the joint practices against the Jets and the Patriots. The depth of the Eagles' defensive line has also stood out, most notably Milton Williams. If Jonathan Gannon's defensive line can cause havoc in the backfield, this will bode well towards an Eagles victory on opening day. Let's go to my number 3 storyline. Last up, number 3, make life for Kyle the Pitts. The Eagles struggled against big plays all season in 2020, giving up 27 passing touchdowns against 8 interceptions, with many of them going to tight ends. They allowed 835 yards and 9 touchdowns on 80 receptions to opposing tight ends in 2020. Out goes defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz. In comes Jonathan Gannon. Can Gannon get this group to play more disciplined in 2021? We're all excited to see it. Eric Wilson is a much-needed vet and leader for this Eagles linebacker group. Wilson started 15 of 16 games, ending up with 122 tackles, 3 sacks, 3 interceptions, and 8 pass breakups. Expect a major leap forward for Alex Singleton, who played nearly every snap between weeks 10 and 17 last year. In the last 8 games of last season, Singleton played 527 of a possible 530 defensive snaps. TJ Edwards has also continued to show flashes, not just in 2020, but throughout the 2021 training camp. Singleton and Edwards have impressed during training camp and this preseason. However, they will be thrown into the fire on week 1 versus an elite playmaker like Kyle Pitts. The trio of Wilson, Singleton, and Edwards have a real chance in week 1 to make the Eagles' woes at linebacker a thing of the past. On Kyle Pitts, I don't think I need to explain just how big of a playmaker this guy is for the Atlanta Falcons. The question is, can the Eagles contain him enough to limit the damage? In 2020, Pitts lined up at tight end 261 times compared to 40 at wide receiver. He had 16 explosive plays, aka 15 yards or more, while lined up as a tight end compared to 7 as a wide receiver. 39 of Kyle Pitts' 43 receptions went for first downs, and he had 5 touchdowns of 20 yards or more at Florida last year. Kyle Pitts is a guy that can hurt you all over the field and will significantly test Jonathan Gannon's new Eagles defense. Expect Kyle Pitts to put Jonathan Gannon's defense into a pressure cooker. The Eagles will need to play disciplined on defense and limit the big plays in order to get a week 1 victory. During the 2021 preseason, Kyle Pitts has yet to play a single snap. All reports indicate that he's ready to go week 1. Considering how much the Eagles linebacker group struggled in 2020, expect Matt Ryan to zero in on Kyle Pitts while exploiting those mismatches in week 1, especially on third downs. How should the Eagles plan to stop a unicorn like Kyle Pitts? He can beat man coverage against cornerbacks, he's too big for most safeties, and he's simply too athletic to be covered by most linebackers. Kyle Pitts is a mismatch nightmare, and the Falcons will try to get him in space as much as possible. Expect the Philadelphia Eagles to throw a heavy dose of multiple bracket and nickel coverages at Kyle Pitts, while also being physical with him at the line of scrimmage to keep everything in front of them. What do you guys think of my top 3 storylines for the Eagles week 1 versus the Atlanta Falcons? Let me know in that comment section below. If you love the Eagles, if you don't love the Eagles, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to the Painted Lines YouTube channel. Follow me on Twitter at Mr. Crockpot. Thank you everyone for watching. Stay awesome. Go Birds, baby.